Aren't those guys over at the skit pretty crazy?
Not crazy.
Looks like a big fire from over here. We're going to talk about auto extrication. That's what we do when you have a bad crash and people are stuck in the car. Tonight these cars are all sitting on four wheels and not rolled over or anything like that, but one of the things we do when we get to the scene is we put the wood blocks underneath the cars to make sure the car doesn't move anymore. Sometimes they might be sitting in a ditch or they might be rolled over and they're tippy. So one thing we do is we stabilize the car when we get there. Then we have to look around and see if maybe the cars are leaking gasoline, if there's wires down. We want the scene to be safe so none of the firefighters get hurt and so that the patients don't get injured anymore. Another thing we're sometimes concerned about is fire. It doesn't happen real often, but we have to make sure that there isn't anything that's going to start on fire while we're working and that the patients don't become more injured with that. We have to assess how many patients we have. We respond to every car accident with 2 ambulances and that truck you see behind you. That's a rescue engine. That engine does go to fire calls, but its primary response is for car accidents and car fires and industrial accidents. So when we get there with 2 ambulances, we have to make sure that we can handle the number of patients we have. If we've got 4 or 5 patients, we have to start calling in ambulances from neighboring communities. Or if the patient needs to go to Milwaukee, greater, then we will call the place select. Those are things that are all done in the first few minutes of a car accident. Behind me I got firefighter Jim, firefighter Tim, and firefighter Jeff.
Firefighter Jeff.
I'm sorry, I'm firefighter Rod.
What's your last one, Ryan?
On the white car tonight, we're going to remove the roof. We do that sometimes if the patient needs a lot of care quickly. We can remove the roof and the EMT can get in there and start doing things. If the patient is really trapped, we can do IVs and things like that while we're working in the car, and it's much easier to do all that when the roof is removed. And sometimes it just requires to get, that's the only way the person is coming out of the car.
Convertible.
So that's what we're going to do on this white one. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about airbags. There's Rescue Randy here underneath the car. We're going to see if we can get him out.
That sucks to be Randy.
The tool, all you have to do is do this and spray.
And then we're going to do a little bit of an airbag demonstration. Airbags like that are in your car when you have a crash. And there's a couple of them laying on the ground up front here that have come out of a car. But when you have a front-end crash, those airbags deploy out of the steering wheel and out of the dashboard. We're actually going to deploy a few of those later on. Okay, the first thing that we might have to do is break some windows. So we got a little tool, Firefighter Tim's got a little tool there, that pops those windows out real quick and easy. So somebody's going to be in the car with the patient, hopefully, and cover them up with a blanket and reassure them that they're going to be okay. And then we're going to say, breaking glass.
Breaking glass.
It's not breaking wind.
We have to do that so that we can get access to the patient. If we can get in there, we'll cover them up with a blanket. Somebody will be right in there with you if you're the patient. Firefighter Jim is taking a saw and cutting the front windshield off so that when we lift the roof up, it's not attached by that windshield. Firefighter Jeff is going to cut with the cutters on the back. One thing you want to do when the car is really crumpled around a patient is you want to remove the car away from the patient. It's not necessarily yanking the patient out of the car when his feet are stuck or trapped, so it's kind of like peeling the car away from the patient. In this case, we're going to peel the roof away from the patient. Other things that can be done is removing the doors. We have a technique, it's called the Noah's Ark. We can remove both doors at the same time. It just lays the whole side of the car open. Jeff is using a cutter on the ground. There's a spreader. There's a combination tool that does cutting and spreading, and then there's a ram. The portable lighting that you see around here, we actually carry all that portable lighting on the truck. We can light up a scene just like broad daylight, and we've bring all of our lighting out. And that's really nice and helpful when you're trying to do patient care on a dark ditch. Lighting is very important for safety. Our firefighters, when they respond to a car accident, they are all dressed in their firefighting gear, helmets. Okay, they're removing the roof. Looks like we got a little piece that we got to snip in the back yet. Again, there would be an EMT in the car with you. If you happen to drive by an accident on the highway, please slow down and move over and give these guys room to work. When we're on the highways, we try to leave a lane open so that traffic can move somewhat, but as you can see, it's not something you want cars whizzing by you at 70 miles an hour doing. Okay, they took off the roof. That went pretty good. Jim, do you want to do the airbag deployment? We're going to do the airbag, okay, we're going to use our rescue airbags to see if we can get Randy out from underneath the car. These airbags are powered by this silver bottle that's in front of Jeff. That's an air bottle that firefighters wear on their back when they go into a burning house or so. We use the same air bottle to use air to lift these bags, to lift the car. And we want to go all the way up just to show them how high you can lift it. And then we're going to drag Rescue Randy out. And while he's doing that, firefighter Tim's going to crib it with more wood to support the car in case something goes wrong. It's only going to come down as far as that wood is. These airbags can actually lift a semi off of a patient. And it's just regular air that goes in there, about 40,000 pounds of pressure. So that's just air in those bags, and that lifts the car right up, and it can lift a lot of things. We can use them in a lot of different ways, and now we got Rescue Randy out. Some of the new cars are really presenting challenges for us. They're the electric cars. These are things that we have to be aware of. The electric cars. Some cars are powered by natural gas. There's a lot more airbags in cars, and if the airbags are not deployed when we get there, we don't want them to deploy while we're working on the car. Another concern. Also, the newer cars are being made with much stronger metals, new types of metals, and we're finding that they're resisting our tools to cut. So we'll be looking into the possibility of buying some new tools that are designed to cut the newer metals. Okay, I think Firefighter Jim is ready to show you what an airbag does when it goes off. This is going to be loud. An airbag is like a shotgun blast going off inside your car. Pretty violent. The bag deploys at about 200 miles an hour, and it deflates very quickly. But it's just going to go off when that impact is made, and it's going to be designed to keep your face and upper body from going into that steering wheel. We're going to do the steering wheel, Jim? All right, Firefighter Jim, deploy that bag. Now, if I was standing in your way, we can do one more. Oh, it's going to take him a second. I guess he's going to move his wires over. We're doing this manually, obviously. So he can connect his wires over, and we'll deploy the one yet on the dash. So it looks very violent, but they actually work very, very well. We were just talking while we were waiting for you guys to finish over by the skit. We probably respond to maybe 40 car accidents a year. And most of the time now when we get there, people are out of the car walking around. Years ago, that wasn't the case. These airbags and the way the cars are built to crunch up has really reduced injuries a lot. Okay, Firefighter Jim says he's ready to deploy one more airbag.